Welcome to Decoding the Keys to Health, a podcast dedicated to exploring health and wellness from a natural, holistic viewpoint. Join our host, esteemed nutritionist and New York Times bestselling author, Ann Louise Gittleman, along with James Templeton, a 35-year cancer survivor and the founder of Unikey Health, as they share their more than 5 decades of combined experience. In each episode, these luminaries of alternative healing will unpack the complexities of today's most challenging health issues, providing you with science-backed insights and wisdom you can trust. Whether you're embarking on a health journey, seeking to enhance your wellness, or simply driven by curiosity, you've tuned into the right resource. And now, let's delve in and decode the keys to health with Ann Louise and James.
Hello, everyone. This is James Templeton, founder of Unikey Health. It's great to be with you today, and I'm here with none other than the First Lady of Nutrition, Ann Louise Gittleman.
Hello.
And welcome, everyone, to Decoding the Keys to Health. It's always good to be with you, Ann Louise, and today I think we're going to be talking about some of the key factors about carbohydrates in one's diet. Carbohydrates has gotten kind of a bad deal over the last, I don't know how many years.
Carbohydrates have been unduly maligned and misunderstood. So we're going to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. Now, carbohydrates save your life, James Templeton. Tell the listeners about the macrobiotic diet.
Well, I followed the macrobiotic diet to overcome stage 4 melanoma.
And succeeded.
It's been 37 years.
Thank God.
Ago. And yeah, thank God. And I'm still here, and I'm actually feeling as good as I did at a younger age almost. I guess I get up a little more stiff when I start carrying heavy loads or doing things like that. But other than that, I'm doing really well. But I think that, the macrobiotic diet is so healthy for a lot of people because it has a lot of whole grains. It's probably nearly half of the meal is whole grains for a lot of people.
But whole grains now have gotten a very bad reputation.
I know, because there's heavy metals in the grains, and there's, they break down and they create mycotoxins. And the thing about the whole grains, they're very high in fiber and they break down slowly. It's not like eating these cereal grains and processed foods and pasta and all the things that people think of when they think of carbohydrates.
But you also soak them. Tell the listeners.
Yeah, well, the idea is that nowadays there's been found to be, like arsenic and cadmium and things like that in the grains, and these heavy metals turn people away. And it's also the idea that carbohydrates turn into sugar really quickly into your system, and they're high on the glycemic index. Not true with whole grains. And whole grains can be soaked for at least 8 hours. Now, you take some like brown rice. I would say short grain brown rice was always our staple. It wasn't all we ate, but it was a very, very big part of it. And that's short grain brown rice. But what we used to do is we actually hulled most of our rice. And, freshly hulled rice is so much better for you. But we still, even then, we soaked a lot of our grains. But today,
what did the soaking do, James?
Well, today, though, that's what I'm getting to. Today is you have to soak these grains for 8 hours, because that starts to eliminate a lot of these heavy metals found in the grain, and it makes it easier to break down and digest in your system. You're still going to have the nutrition and the fiber content, but if you soak it and then you drain it off, and then you rinse it again and soak it for a few minutes and then drain that off, you're going to get rid of the majority of all these unwanted things that you find in the grains.
So the arsenic and the cadmium go down the drain.
Yes. So that's the key, is that letting it all go down the drain and enjoying yourself. Because I never saw anyone on the macrobiotic diet, if they did it right, that was overweight. Everybody thinks, oh, if you eat that, you'll be overweight. But yeah, most of the time, if you're eating these like breads and all that, yes, it's just almost instant sugar, isn't it?
It is. On Fat Flush, we believe in the right kind of carbohydrates. and we count our carb grams. So we allow about 40 to 50 grams. What I don't like is these high-fat diets that completely eliminate carbohydrates. You're not getting your B vitamins. You're not getting your slowly released energy, and you're not getting your fiber. And the fiber acts as a prebiotic. Let's not forget that.
Yes, and that's important. Up to 80%, probably 70 to 80% of your immune system has to do with your gut health. And to get the gut health to where it needs to be, you've got to have good probiotics, a good microbiome, whatever you want to call it. And what you get from grains is that fiber, and the fiber is a prebiotic, which turns into the probiotic.
Exactly, and we're forgetting that.
The good bacteria, and people are out there eating meat, and they're eating,
and they're not pooping.
Well, they're eating a lot of fats, all these natural healthy fats, but you can't eat but so much of that. The thing is people are not getting enough vegetables in their diet. They're not getting enough fiber in their diet. They're not getting enough minerals in their diet, and everybody's eating like either meat, potatoes, and that's it, or maybe a little salad that has very little nutrition in it,
a lot of coconut oil,
a lot of that stuff. But I think it's all good, because I personally like meat. I like a little bit of everything,
but you like it balanced,
like a balanced meal. And I feel like sometimes I don't get enough vegetables, so I have to really force myself to cook more vegetables. It's very important. And also, if I'm making a salad in the summertime, especially when you want something more cooling, like this time of the year, here we are at the end of July, and it's very important to eat foods that are less cooked in the summertime, because it's cooling and the body doesn't get so heated up. If you eat hot soups in the middle of the summer, you feel like you got to turn the air conditioning down just to get it down, because it's freeze. You're hot, you need it cold.
So what are your favorite grains? Because there's one that you taught me to really enjoy, and that's millet. Why is millet so popular?
Millet is just something I've always liked a lot. It doesn't have the heavy metals in it that the other grains have.
Exactly.
And it's wonderful. You just got to cook it with more water, because it's dry,
and it's a seed.
It dries out. So yes, and some of the grains are more moist than others. Millet can be very dry, so you've got to cook a little bit more water with it than some of the other grains. You want it to be creamy and delicious.
What about buckwheat?
Buckwheat is not my favorite, but buckwheat can be relatively healthy, because it doesn't also contain as much of the heavy metals, as the other grains.
And it's a seed too.
Yeah.
And the last but not least is sorghum.
Well, sorghum, I don't eat sorghum very much, but you might have.
Pop sorghum instead of popcorn.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, it's a grain-free. It's a grain-free seed. It's a grain-free grain, so to speak, and it's very non-allergic producing.
Yes.
So a lot of people use it for flours and grains itself.
Well, I don't follow the macrobiotic diet.
Not at this point.
But I still love it, and I would. It takes a lot of time for a lot of people, but the thing is
I think it's the time element that people don't have anymore.
Yeah.
Back in the 70s, we had a lot of time, not anymore.
But it's a very powerful diet. The thing that I see with the macrobiotic diet is it's a wonderful healing diet, very detoxifying. And when you're sick with issues like I had, cancer, your body's usually very toxic, overloaded with all kinds of toxins, from chemicals to pesticides to heavy metal toxicity to a lowered immune system, all this. And it's very good. It acts like a broom almost to go in and really detoxify the system. But I find long term I needed more protein, and I wasn't getting enough protein. I was eating a little bit of fish, like fish soup once a week, and it's for protein. And then other than that, small beans like lentils, chickpeas, dookie beans, which were the staple for protein. Now, those are great, but I felt that I needed a little bit more protein, and I've noticed how a lot of other people became a little too thin sometimes. So that's the thing. But nowadays we've learned so much, and like your fat flush diet is I think the perfect diet for all. And I recommend that all the time for people, because it not only gives you that satisfaction, you get enough protein, you get some carbs, like you said, you get
and the skinny fats,
and you get lots of vegetables, and you get the essential fatty acids. I mean, it's just a wonderful, seeds and nuts, and even a little bit of fruit. And it's a wonderful diet. And it's not for, oh, let's do this for 4 months or 3 months or 2 months, and then go on. This is a lifetime diet. There's a phase 1 and a phase 2
and a phase 3 for maintenance.
Yeah.
When I did the research for one of my latest books, which was Radical Longevity, I learned that there was a grain that was the most popular among those that were long-lived populations. And I'm now going to ask you, because this is a trick question. Let's see if you know the answer. What grain, it was popular in macrobiotics, was the most popular grain for the most long-lived populations in the world of the blue zones?
I'm not sure about that.
It wasn't millet.
Was it amaranth?
It wasn't amaranth.
Was it quinoa?
It wasn't quinoa.
We'll go down the list. Was it barley?
Yes, it was barley. And it was a true surprise to me. So this winter, I want to do a lot of barley soups.
Well, barley is wonderful in a soup, especially with shiitake mushrooms and maybe even a little protein in it, a little something. And it's
But why do you think barley was so healing for these elderly people?
I don't know.
It's a good source of B vitamins.
Okay, that makes sense.
Highest source of B vitamins, and very, very nourishing.
What about the mineral content?
High source of minerals and B vitamins, nourishing to the microbiome.
More than the other grains?
Yes, indeed. And more that came out when you soaked it and you cooked it in soups.
Wow. I've eaten barley, but not a lot of barley.
Even the pearl barley is really healthy.
I love it. It's tasty.
We're putting it on our menu, just so you know.
So tell everybody, a little more about fat flush, because there's a lot of people that have followed it, haven't. They've been hearing about it, and they're going, well, I don't know. But tell people why they should, and tell people the tremendous amount of success you've had with that over the years, with your millions of books you've sold, that the fat flush books.
Well, you just sold the book. Just sold the book to our listening audience.
But
it's been extremely helpful. It's the only diet that targets the liver and the lymph, so it's a detox diet for weight loss. And it's a very balanced diet. You got the essential fatty acids, you got the protein, and you got the right amount of carbohydrates.
And I think that it's a good diet for people that have cancer.
Oh, it most definitely
especially
is.
The phase 1,
well,
right?
It's because it's low glycemic.
And I've interviewed several doctors that have used this as their staple with people that are renowned oncologists.
We have a lot of renowned diabetologists that have used this for diabetes, phase 1 and phase 2.
And
stage 1 and
how
stage
did you
2.
Come up with this diet in the first place?
It was from all the secrets I learned from my 106-year-old teacher.
So you put this together, and
I studied with a master. I was
back in the 80s.
No, I started in the 70s.
But when did you develop this diet? Was it the 80s?
Late 70s.
And then you started talking about it,
and I wrote in the book in the late 80s.
And then the big blockbuster fat flush
2001.
Yeah, it went through the roof.
Yeah, and the editor didn't know why. My agent didn't know why. We got a call in the middle of the night. Why is the book on the New York Times bestseller list? Why is it selling? Nobody knew, because it worked.
Yeah, and the thing is
for men and women,
there's all these diets out there today and yesterday, and diets. Everybody thinks it's old news, but old news doesn't mean it's not good news still.
It's good news, and it's as evergreen as it ever was.
And you see, like, everybody's coming out. There'll be these people that have this diet and this diet and this diet, and everybody's going on this bandwagon and everybody's going on that bandwagon, but I guarantee you, and I'm just
They're
saying
not
this
going to
from,
get the blood
from the
chemistry.
common sense within me, that there's not a diet that can hold a candle to the fat flush.
Well, because your blood doesn't lie, we see the most magnificent blood test results. Triglycerides come down, liver enzymes come down,
Yes,
histamine levels come down,
and energy goes up and up,
and energy goes up and up.
and the weight goes down, 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 right?
You betcha.
And how long does it take most people to lose? Let's say the average person needs to lose how much?
10 pounds.
How long does that take on a healthy fat flush diet?
1 month.
1 month. And then what about these people that have, that are really obese and they have,
So it may take 3 to 4 months.
I mean, I worked with a lady once that lost 100 pounds.
On fat flush?
Yes, and she lost 100 pounds.
That's not unusual.
And it took her, I think it was like 9 months or something like that. And I mean, I saw her and I could not believe how healthy she looked. And before pictures, I never met her, and I saw the picture before, and then I saw her in person, and I was like, oh my goodness. I mean,
Looked
she
like
was
a complete,
trim
but a little,
and
and
attractive.
and wait a minute. No sagging skin.
Yeah.
That's because of the GLA and the CLA.
And it changed her life so much. She became a alternative practitioner, and she was a conventional nurse.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Before we leave this podcast, if you needed to give people a source of nutrition to help them metabolize carbohydrates, what formula would you suggest from the Unikey?
The weight loss formula.
Why is that, James?
Because the weight loss formula stabilizes blood sugar and metabolizes the fats.
Due to?
Well, it's got a lot of chromium in it.
And why is chromium so important? Because it's the biggest missing mineral in the diet today, unless you're eating a lot of pepper, which we don't on fat flush, or drinking a lot of beer.
Yeah. Is that why there's so many diabetics out there?
Unbelievable. It's chromium. Everybody thinks it's berberine. Forget about berberine. Go to chromium. It's much less expensive.
So a good healthy diet and extra chromium does wonders for a lot of people.
Which you get in the weight loss formula, as well as carnitine, which was Dr. Atkins' weight loss resistance secret. It's in our formula.
The weight loss formula at Unikey has been probably overall all these years our most successful formula, and people take this ongoing. I've taken it for 20 years myself, and I notice that when I haven't taken it, which is very, very,
rarely,
seldom, but it keeps your weight from ballooning. It keeps your metabolism. It keeps the blood sugar
steady.
So it's steady Freddy.
Steady Freddy weight loss formula.
Steady Freddy diet program. So anyway,
I love it.
Only at Unikey. So everyone, check out the Fat Flush Plan, Ann Louise's books, all of her books. Check out AnnLouise.com. Ann Louise shares all of her knowledge. And stay tuned for other episodes of Decoding the Keys to Health. Also, check out the weight loss formula. Check out some of our other formulas at unikeyhealth.com. It's always a pleasure being with y'all, and an honor. And we appreciate everyone that really appreciates being healthier. And hey, if you don't have your health, take it from me. Nothing really matters. I lost my health and lost nearly everything, as I said, 37 years ago. And it's a wonderful thing when you get on the right diet and lifestyle program, and you can still enjoy life too. It's not a death sentence, or you don't have to live in a jail cell, like people think, oh, it's no fun to be on a diet. This is good, healthy food, the way we eat. We can go anywhere. Check out my other foundation, Templeton Wellness Foundation. Check out Templeton List. Templeton List is my restaurant guide to the healthiest restaurants in America. You can find the healthiest organic farm-to-table restaurants by just going to templetonlist.com, and it's easy to use. You can use your phone. It'll take you right there, give you directions, take you to the websites. Go to the restaurants, ask questions though, because it's important that you get the foods that you need for yourself. Everybody's a little different, and these restaurants will be glad to work with you and help you. But if you're on the road or just want to get out of the house, these restaurants are the places to go. That's where we go as much as possible. And anyway, it's been nice talking to you all today. And Ann Louise, it's always nice to be with you.
Good to be with you, James William Templeton.
And we'll see you next time.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.